Good morning and welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Lisa. I'm spiritual coach Lisa Hobb. Thank you so much for joining me. It is Sunday, September 1st. For those joining me for the first time, I am a spiritual coach, intuitive coach, medium, author, Reiki teacher, and hypnotherapist in Southern New Jersey. My office is located in Woodbury, New Jersey. My website is lisahopp.com. That's lisahopp.com. I do services, conduct services by phone, by email, and also I do travel for my work. So please check out my site. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me at serenitiharbor@verizon.net. I hope all of you had a wonderful summer. We're now into September. Fall is my time of year. I look forward to it. Halloween is my Christmas very much. So this is a time when my joy comes out. So it's a little bit of a different type of session today or recording today. Normally, I always like to give an uplifting spiritual topic in my role as a spiritual teacher, but I had quite the week again. And for those who did not hear last week's broadcast about Are You All In or Are You All Out, where I talk about how we're often not all in with our diet, how we're often not all in with our faith, with our efforts to get the better job. With any part of our life, we tend to want to go and do things faster, quicker, to have that overnight cure or that instant cure. And that's the human inside of us. That's human nature. And so I was talking about last week about how I thought I'd found a very good thing to do for my health, but I was still struggling with the wanting the quick fix and the all in or all out as I was on a business trip last week. And I'm always being pulled in every direction, being in the South to the sweet tea and the warm rolls and all those things, and the freshly baked cookies every day at my hotel, and all those things that speak to my spirit. But I'm back now. And it's time to get back on track. And so this week, this topic this week is actually a channeling. It's a channeling from the being that some of you may know as the Son of God, or you may know him as I really did know him as a child, an ascended master and teacher. And I'm talking about Jesus Christ. I was raised in Catholic religion, and so he was... I was taught that he was the Son of God, and I am aligned with that. I always knew him more personally as a child, as more of a teacher. I would, as a child, have visions, have very lucid dreams of walking with him, of learning from him. I loved hearing the stories. I would complete any story in the New Testament. If you were telling it, I would at the end, because I was so into it, so enthralled. And I loved this man, this being, this Son of God, this ascended master, this teacher so much. But as always, or not as always, I say, what can often happen is as you become into adulthood, as you get into it, life can take you on a bit of a roller coaster ride. And over the years, I would begin to interact with the angels, learn from the angels, channel from the angels. When I was going through a stem cell transplant for multiple myeloma, I was very helped, very assisted by the Blessed Mother Mary. I'm so grateful and still so overwhelmed and so humbled by her interaction at that time. And I just realized this week that during this time, there is not many times that I actually turned to Jesus. And that surprises me a bit. I don't know why I didn't. I think the woman in me and the mother of me perhaps thought I needed more of a mother during my health journey. And also working more with women and teachers and helpers in my work, that also often requires the direction and guidance of a Blessed Mother Mary. And so it took me away from Jesus, but it wasn't an intentional decision. And there was even a wonderful story I have. This is story time. There's a wonderful story I have where one time I was sitting in my office. It's probably about 12 years ago. And I had a desk at the time. I was sitting at my desk. And I had a moment where I just felt very much alone and felt like abandoned a bit, I guess. And so I remember thinking out loud to myself and saying it out loud, I need to reconnect with Jesus, because I remembered at that time that wonderful relationship, that feeling of security, that overwhelming feeling of unconditional love. And I was missing it at that time. And yes, I miss it from time to time, but especially at that time. So when I said that I need to connect with Jesus again, I said it out loud. It wasn't an intention. I did mean it. But then I went back to what I was doing. I was focused on what I was doing. I was writing something. I was working on work things at the time. And probably maybe only a couple of minutes later, I felt this overwhelming urge to stand up and look out the window. And I had a window right behind me that looked up the street. And I often would stand there and watch the traffic go back and forth at that window or the other window. I would even go downstairs sometimes and go to that window and just watch. It was, I don't know, it was very soothing for me. It was a bit meditative to watch traffic go back and forth. And so I stand up because I have this urge to do so. And just as I get to the window, this big white box truck drives by. And on the side, it says in red letters, Jesus is with you. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know of any other truck that would have that. Even a business truck would have something business-like on the side, maybe a small bumper sticker or something on the back. This was actually all white with just Jesus is with you. I knew it was a divine message, and I was very grateful. And I was also I felt just a great sense of security and comfort by knowing that. But then again, I got back into my work, and I really never followed up on increasing that relationship. Well, recently, I have discovered a teacher called Chris Wark, which I may have mentioned last week in my broadcast if you did listen to it. He wrote Chris Beats Cancer. He had stage 3 colon cancer and decided to forego chemotherapy and see what he could do to assist himself with the cancer himself through a plant-based diet, supplements, exercise, and faith. And I am not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, and I am definitely not promoting that anyone going through a cancer or health diagnosis should necessarily do that. It's an individual basis. I do believe that that should be a complement to traditional medicine. It's really, it's always about doing what's best for yourself. So I'm not promoting necessarily or endorsing Chris, but I am interested in what he has to say as someone who is on my own health advocacy for myself and for others too as a spiritual teacher. So he said something that struck me during his, during a broadcast I was listening to of his. He's currently has out 10 free modules called Square One, where he basically gives you the steps to have increased health and healing. And during one of those modules, he said that every day he thanked Jesus for his healing because he is a Christian by practice, and he came to the understanding, the realization, kind of like the aha moment, that Jesus during his lifetime here on earth did heal, willingly healed, did it very unconditionally, did not ask for anything in return. It was just something he wanted to do, and it gave him the realization that Jesus wants us to be healed. So he took that as a knowing, he took that as an assurance, and then instead of asking him necessarily every day for healing, it was more, thank you for the healing. I know it is done. I know that you love me that much. And I am paraphrasing that. Chris would probably say it, of course, much better. So when I heard that, I got that aha moment too. I'm like, gosh, that is the only, probably the only person I haven't gone to enough with assistance during my work, my life, my health, and everything. And I felt like it was a direct message for me because it spoke to me very much. So this week, every day, I did ask for healing. I also made changes that were necessary changes. I started a more disciplined program. I am now, I'd probably say about 99% plant-based, with animal fat being only salmon for me, or another wild-caught mild fish, perhaps once a week. And I have stuck to that, and I'm doing very well. I also am now taking more supplements too, and back to using essential oils, and just making my own health a very enjoyable focus right now, because it's very empowering to take care of yourself. I think it's the greatest thing that we can do in a loving way for ourselves is to take care of our health. It's so self-loving. And it's made me feel that way. And of course, the more self-love you feel, the more love you can give out to others. And so my cup overfloweth. and I've noticed that I'm more willing to serve than ever in other times. I'm a bit of a server for my life, but I've noticed even more so in a much more enjoyable way. I'm smiling more, even more, maybe 24/7 instead of 20 hours a day. And so, and I mean that. I do try to be, anyone who spends enough time with me will know I try to be a positive person overall. And I am a positive person overall. Because I know the power of that. The power of thoughts become things. The power of positive emotions, of positive beliefs. The power of treating others with kindness. Treating others the way you wish to be treated. That's all so important. So I live by that. It is my commandments, my rules for living. So this week I knew, especially after my business trip, that it was time to clean up my act, so to speak. And that it was also time to forgive myself, because I'm very critical of me. I expect a lot out of myself. I don't talk to myself as, oh, you're a loser, or you're this, or you're that. And I'm not saying that. But when something happens, I go automatically to, what did you do? And not to say that I should blame others, but I tend to go right in and become very critical of me. And so this week I knew it was very important to not only reconnect with Jesus Christ, but also because of that relationship, and because, yes, He is the Father of us all, and He does wish to heal us. And He also, we are given free will by God. But that energy, God, Jesus, Mary, any ascended master, any angel, is wanting to heal us from everything, wanting to heal us from the violence, from the abuse, from the hatefulness, from anything that's negative, anything that's harmful. They're there, waiting, watching, wanting to be there for us. But we have to ask. We have free will. We have to say it's all right. Please come. Please do it. And it's so important for us to understand that they're allowing it to happen, but they're not. It's not a punishment. It's not. And I know you probably, if you've heard my other broadcasts, have heard me talk like this before. There isn't a God angry at us or punishing us, but we do have the gift of free will. And we do have to understand there are circumstances, there are consequences to decisions. And when you live in a violent world, when you don't promote your own health, you will pay the price. But you can always at any moment say, please help me, please empower me, please guide me towards the way. I'll listen. And I listen. I want to listen. And I want to listen not even enough. I want to listen more than enough. And so this week I got back to every day saying, thank you for the healing. Thank you for the healing, Jesus. And also changing my diet to much more of a health-based diet that's healthy, plant-based more, much near no dairy, No processed, nothing. I mean, any commercial you're seeing, that's not my diet right now on TV. And we should be cognizant of that, what we're seeing on TV. And so, as I said, I'm beginning to feel empowered and to feel better in every way. So, I also realized, as I said before, that not only do I need to increase my relationship with Jesus and to thank Him for my healing as it has already happened, but also to forgive myself. That's part of the healing process, to let go, to let myself have freedom, to be free, because a body cannot heal if it's holding on to things, if it's holding on to hate, if it's holding on to anger, to rage, to unforgiveness, to grudges. I'm not really anyone who holds grudges anymore, but I have a past where people harmed me, where people used me, where people, some of them didn't mean it. I mean, maybe none of them meant it, but subconsciously did do what they did. And so it was up to me to not only forgive them, but also forgive myself for making decisions, for putting myself in situations, forgive myself for not being perfect. How's that? Forgive myself for not always being the highest version of myself that I can be, that I know I can be, because I want to be the highest version of myself. I want to be the best possible Lisa I possibly can be. But I do falter sometimes. I do stumble. And I had to say to myself this week, that's okay. It's all right, because you can always stand up again. You can always sit up again. You can always restart. Each day is a blank slate. Each day is a new beginning. That's how it was set up. That's how this life was set up in every way. So I got the aha about that as well. But also, yesterday, come to our topic. I am doing my usual daily for the last week. Thank you, Jesus, for the healing. And this time I added, what can I do to be better? What can I do to feel closer to you? And this time, there was a response. I heard an audible voice within my mind that I knew was not my own. Words that I would not say. My brain was shut down. It was not using itself right now to make up words or to make up a scenario. So I knew it was a divine channeling. It was not one I set up to ask for. I can do that, by the way, if I want. I mean, you can't just call up anybody, but when spirit wants to talk, when an angel wants to come forward, I can channel from them. I am very happy, blessed, grateful, honored to be able to have that ability. So this was not an asked for channeling, but it was one that happened, and I'm also very grateful for that. So this voice that I know was my great ascendant master, our great ascendant master, our great teacher, our great Savior, Jesus, spoke to me. And he said, love. You have to prioritize love. You have to give it out to everyone, whether they receive it or not. You have to live from only that mindset. To the stranger, to the person who isn't kind, to the people that you live with, to anyone that comes in contact, you must always be loving. Feel that love. It is a priority. And then this wonderful voice said to me, you do not have to ask me for healing. Healing comes through prioritizing love. It is done. So stop asking for healing. So stop thanking for healing. Prioritize love. And it will come as you want it. And I have to say to you, in the past, when I've asked the angels, how do I handle this situation? How do I handle this relationship? They always say love. And I have to say to you that when it has happened in the past at times, well, there's been a couple of times it's annoyed me because it's like, I know, love. It's not easy, is it? It can be. I find you probably find this as well. It's easiest with the stranger, the one you're passing. It's easy. It was easy over the weekend to the waitress. Well, it was for me anyway. It's easiest in New Jersey for the gasoline attendant. It's easy. It's easy to be kind. It's easy to say, have a good day. It's easy to hold open the door for someone. It's easy to do it in passing. It's not always easy to those that you work with and see every day. It's not always easy when you're having a bad day, is it? It's not always easy when someone's not being kind to you and you want to stab back at them. And I'm not usually one to do that, but when I do that, it's when I'm being tested. It's when I'm very tired. It's maybe perhaps when they are a certain way towards me. It's usually when I've been nagged down in some way, or not nagged down perhaps, or been, I'm going to say beaten down, but kind of chipped away at until I'm like, all right, I've had it. I'm not going to be kind anymore. You're getting on my last nerve. But what Jesus was saying in that message is that I have to give love more to that person, to prioritize love to everyone, even the ones that test me the most. Give it to them the most. And you see, there's a reward for that because you're on the highest frequency. You're on the highest vibration when you give out love. And you have to feel, you can't fake it. I was, by the way, the reason why my broadcast a little bit late today is that, well, Mom called. And Mom is a priority. Mom, the phone gets answered when Mom calls. And she called just as I was sitting down to go to the microphone. And I was speaking this morning about we were talking about someone in our lives. And I was saying, I'll tell you, anyone listening to this is probably not going to be the one we were talking about. So don't worry if it's not you. All right. But there's someone in our lives that we said had a phoniness that we both know. And we were talking about how that bothers us. It's just be yourself, you know. Don't be phony. Don't be, oh, hello. No. Yeah, we can all have a day where maybe a smile is harder. But it's okay to smile and say, I've had a day. How are you? You know, instead of letting everyone know around them that you're not really happy to see them. But you're going to fake it. Really fake it. Be phony about it. And so anyway, we should not be phony. We have to be genuine with putting out love. I love to sit in places and just send out love to people. I was in a doctor's office this past week, and I was just sitting there just kind of giving love to everyone. I did it in another public place as well. Now, the one thing about free will is if you send out love to someone, you send out healing, they can bounce it back to you. Their free will has to accept it. So I knew I wasn't going against their will by doing it. But I was sitting in this public place, it's escaping me right now, another public place I was in. And I was just kind of just sending it out to all of them. And I was watching them being affected by it. You could see their body language was changing right in front of me because a lot of people in this particular waiting room were a bit nervous and stressed. And so I was just kind of going, a little bit for you, it's all right. And just kind of seeing healing hands on top of them and sending them healing throughout their bodies and love. It was such I was so grateful to do that. Especially since I saw its effects, that they, at least at some level, was getting a little bit of it. You know, I'm an attuned healer. However, all of us have the ability to heal. And so I encourage you, as you're sitting in places, that you're sitting in a DMV or in a doctor's office or anywhere you may be, an airport, send out just good, warm, fuzzy energy to everyone around you. And you'll see them maybe smile and you don't understand, and they won't understand. Why am I smiling? Or why does it feel like the edge comes off of me a little bit? They'll get it. And you have the power to do that as a child of God. You have the power to heal yourself. That's truth, by the way, to heal yourself and all those around you. And so I love to do that. And I've gotten that message yesterday told me, do that more. Do that everywhere. Do that everywhere you go. Just emanate it out. And you see, when I emanate it out, I feel lighter. I feel good. I feel joyful. And the lighter and better and joyful I feel, the better my body's going to heal. My body's going to heal itself because there's nothing in its way. There's no blocks. There's no anxieties. There's no fear. All of that leaves when you're reaching out to others. And now we have a hurricane coming, and we don't know where it's going to land. But we know it's going to do damage somewhere. Bahamas. Send that love there. Send that love to the whole coastline of the States and Bahamas. And whomever other place may be hit by Dorian. Send out love and energy. It will make a difference. It always makes a difference. So if you were to ask me, what's the answer to everything, to every problem, to every situation, love? It's the answer I get constantly because it's the truth. It's the truth. Our human nature will block us, but we all have the power to get beyond our human nature and to send out love to others. And it's best when you don't tell them you're doing it. Actually, you shouldn't tell them you're doing it because then it becomes egotistical and conditional. You just do it naturally. And when you're generous, you give unto others. Yesterday, you give unto others unconditionally. Yesterday, my son is in the process of getting a townhome. I'm very happy for him. And so we were out furniture shopping yesterday. And I gifted him some as a housewarming gift. And I was so thrilled. I was so joy-filled. I was more excited than him, I think, to be able to gift him this. And that's how it should be. It should be that way for anybody. When it's unconditional, you should be jumping up and down inside and going, oh, this is so fun. This is so meaningful. What a wonderful thing this is. Joy-filled, not conditional, not egotistical, not phony, joy-filled. And if you do that, the best of life, no matter what storms, no matter what obstacles, no matter what tumultuousness, the best of life will come to you. And life can have its lessons. Heaven can let things happen to us in order to grow us, in order to bring us the greatest of what we want. So remember that everything that does happen for a reason. That's the truth. But if you are giving out love, and you are feeling love, and you are being joyful, then you know you're on top of the wave, and that you're doing the best for yourself in your life that you possibly can, and you will be rewarded. It may come at the 11th moment, but you will be rewarded. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love coming and speaking to you. I hope you will share this podcast with everybody. More and more I want to listen. And if there's any topics you want me to cover, please email me at serenityharbor@verizon.net. I will gladly consider it and most likely do it. What I don't know, I will find out. I'm happy to say I know a lot about heaven. I know a lot about energy. I know a lot about the natural laws. I've learned a lot throughout my great life, and I love sharing the teachings with you because you're not alone, because I'm cheering you on, as is an entire army of a spiritual dimension and dimensions that are cheering you on as well. Please know that you're never ever alone. And once again, please check out my website, lisahaupt.com. And also, I always forget to mention this, but also I have books out. One is called Take These Steps Now to Change Your Life, and the other one is called Affirmations for Everyday Life, and they are available under lisahop.com and amazon.com. Please pick them up. They are just $7.95 for Take These Steps Now to Change Your Life and $8.95 for Affirmations for Everyday Life. And there is another book in the making that I am going to be working on. I want to get that done so bad because I've been working on it forever. And also, yes, this week, should be the week for YouTube. I keep saying it, but I will have a YouTube channel as well that I will announce when it's officially up and running. So hopefully it will be next Sunday. And that will have videos of very much the same thing, along with channelings. I hope this doesn't throw you off too much, but I even channeled Michael Jackson this week. So I have the ability to not only channel angels and spiritual beings, but I can also channel those that are of the earth plane more as well. It's not going to be a large part of it, but it is something that is up for the offering, as long as there is a higher good to it. I am here to serve. I am here to help all of us to get to a higher plane, to bring heaven to earth, to assist in that. I am not about the ego. I'm not judging others, by the way, for getting into lower base topics, perhaps, but sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes there are things that should be known, that do come from people that are celebrities and such. So as heaven has given me permission, by the way, to let whatever I want to do with my YouTube channel flow. So you may be surprised at what pops up. And so look for that as well. I will announce that officially. For now, have a wonderful Sunday. Have a wonderful September. And wherever you all are, especially if you're along the coast of America, please stay safe. Please be conscious of your safety. Please use your heads. Life is precious, and we should never take it for granted. Thank you, and have a wonderful Sunday.